The wind howled like a banshee across the Siberian tundra, whipping snowflakes against my face like 1,000 tiny needles. Huddled deeper into my threadbare parka, I squinted towards the horizon, where the last sliver of sunlight was bleeding into the bruised purple sky. It was a desolate landscape, a frozen wasteland stretching endlessly under a leaden sky. Yet, amidst this bleak canvas, a flicker of excitement danced in my chest. This desolate hellscape held the key to my redemption. Tonight, I would enter the Luminescent Caves. For years, the scientific community had scoffed at my theories, a subterranean ecosystem fueled by bioluminescent life, existing miles beneath the frozen earth. They called me a dreamer, a crackpot clinging to delusions. My mentor, Dr. Vladislav Petrovo, had been the only one who truly believed in me. But even his unwavering support wasn't enough to silence the jeers. Then, just a month ago, the news arrived: Vladislav, on an unauthorized expedition, presumed dead in a cave-in. Grief had clawed at me, but it was overshadowed by a single, cryptic message Vladislav had left behind. A series of coordinates scrawled on a tattered map, leading deep into this forsaken corner of Siberia. This map, this was my vindication. Tonight, I would prove them all wrong. With gloved hands I fumbled with the worn leather satchel, double-checking my makeshift equipment, a cobbled-together spelunking suit, a jury-rigged lighting system powered by scavenged car batteries, and a battered copy of Vladislav's research notes. I wasn't exactly heading into the unknown with cutting-edge technology, but it was all I had. Taking a deep breath, I shouldered the pack and trudged towards the jagged, snow-capped mountain range in the distance. Somewhere hidden within those icy peaks lay the entrance to the Luminescent Caves. My heart pounded in my chest, a mix of trepidation and thrilling anticipation. Tonight, I wouldn't just be entering a cave, I would be stepping into a world unseen, a testament to the tenacity of life, and perhaps, the key to rewriting my own scientific legacy. The mountain loomed closer, its shadowy outline growing more distinct with each step. As darkness descended, the biting cold grew teeth, sinking into my bones. The air grew eerily still, muffling the crunch of my boots on the frozen tundra. I could feel the weight of the unseen world beneath me, a silent behemoth waiting to be uncovered. I found the narrow crevice, almost invisible amidst the craggy rocks. The entrance was smaller than I had expected, barely wide enough for my shoulders to fit through. A shiver of apprehension ran down my spine as I approached it, the icy wind whispering through the gap like the ghosts of the lost civilization I hoped to find. But there was no turning back now. With trembling hands I strapped on my headlamp and squeezed into the gaping maw of the earth. The descent was steep and treacherous, the rocky walls closing in around me like a giant's fist. The air grew thick and stale, the scent of ancient earth and trapped moisture filling my nose. The only sounds were the ragged breaths echoing in my helmet and the occasional drip of water from above. Each step sent pebbles skittering down into the abyss, the sound bouncing off the walls in a disorienting cacophony. But I pushed on, driven by a fierce resolve to prove the naysayers wrong and uncover the secrets Vladislav had laid before me. As the incline leveled out, the cave walls began to glisten with a faint luminescence. The light grew stronger, the glow of the fungi casting an ethereal light across the jagged stones. The air grew warmer, more humid, hinting at a thriving ecosystem beneath the frozen crust. I felt like I was stepping into a waking dream, the kind that had haunted my thoughts for so long. And then I saw it, a vast cavern, its walls pulsing with a symphony of color, alive with the pulse of millions of bioluminescent organisms. My heart soared as I stepped into the chamber, the gravity of the moment hitting me like a physical force. The beauty was overwhelming, a stark contrast to the harshness of the world above. It was a garden of light in a realm of perpetual darkness. But as I took my first steps into this alien landscape, a sudden sound, unlike anything I had ever heard, reverberated through the cavern. It was a low, guttural growl, resonating from the shadows beyond the reach of my lamp. The hairs on the back of my neck stood on end. I froze, my heart hammering in my chest. The sound grew closer, the ground vibrating beneath my boots. Whatever was coming, it was big. And it was definitely not a hallucination. The crevice I had once seen as a doorway to salvation now looked like a prison door slammed shut. I was about to find out if I was the discoverer or the intruder in this ancient realm, and whether I would live to tell the tale. Switching on the high-powered beam of my makeshift lamp, I scanned the cavern. The light reflected off the bioluminescent fungi, casting a surreal glow that danced and shimmered. The creature emerged from the shadows, a monstrous silhouette that seemed to absorb the light rather than reflect it. Its eyes, two cold, glowing orbs the size of grapefruits, locked onto me, and the growl grew louder. It was easily twice my height, its hulking form vaguely ursine but with a thick, matted fur that shimmered faintly with the bioluminescence it grazed against. The fur itself seemed to writhe and pulsate, almost like a living entity, revealing glimpses of thick, armored plates beneath. As it lumbered closer, the ground trembled beneath its weight. A low, guttural growl resonated from deep within its chest, a sound that vibrated through my bones and sent shivers down my spine. It was a sound both primal and intelligent, a warning and a challenge rolled into one. Thinking fast, I rummaged through my pack, searching for anything that could serve as a weapon. My hand closed around a rock hammer, the metal cold and reassuring in my grip. I didn't know if it would be enough, but it was all I had. The creature took another step, its eyes never leaving me. In that moment, I realized that I was not just a scientist on a quest for knowledge. I was prey in an ancient game of survival. The hammer swung through the air with a sound that echoed off the cavern walls, connecting with a sickening crunch. The creature recoiled, snarling, but it didn't go down. Instead, it charged, the ground trembling with the force of its movement. I barely had time to react, my mind racing with panic. I stumbled back, my boots slipping on the slick cave floor. The creature was fast, its massive frame moving with surprising agility. As it lunged again, I threw my weight to the side, narrowly avoiding its snapping jaws. The hammer felt pathetic in my hand, but I swung it with all the strength I had, aiming for the sensitive areas, the eyes, the throat. Each blow seemed to enrage it further, but it also kept it at bay. The battle was a dance of light and shadow, fear and instinct. The creature's fur was mottled with the glow of the fungi, creating a bizarre, mesmerizing pattern that made it almost impossible to predict its movements. But I had to focus, had to survive. This was not the time to admire the beauty of the subterranean world. Finally, I saw an opening. The creature's left eye was damaged, a milky white marring the once luminous green. With a roar, I swung the hammer with all my might, aiming for the unblemished orb. The creature reared back, a piercing shriek echoing through the cavern. It stumbled, giving me the opportunity one needed. I turned and ran, the creature's roars fading behind me as I sprinted through the glowing corridors. I didn't dare look back, fearing what I might see. The labyrinthine tunnels twisted and turned, but I knew I had to find a way out. I couldn't stay down here with that creature hunting me. As I stumbled through the caves, the air grew thicker, the light dimmer. I was losing my way, my breath coming in ragged gasps. But I had come too far to give up now. I had to find the way out, to tell the world what I had discovered. And if I didn't, I knew the Luminescent Caves would become my tomb, a final resting place in a world that had never wanted me. The cavern walls grew closer, the glow of the fungi sparser. I stumbled into a narrow tunnel, the claustrophobia pressing in on me like a vice. The creature's roars had faded to a distant memory, but I could feel its presence in the very air, a palpable menace that seemed to pulse with every beat of my heart. I quickened my pace, the hammer now a comforting weight in my hand. Suddenly, a glint of metal caught my eye, a hint of something unnatural in this ancient realm. I approached cautiously, the beam of my lamp illuminating an object embedded in the rock. It was a tool, ancient and rusted, but unmistakably crafted by human hands. My heart raced as I pulled it free, a relic from the lost civilization Vladislav had mentioned in his notes. This was it, the proof I needed. But as I examined the tool, the bioluminescence around me began to dim, the cave plunging into darkness. The cold, clammy sensation of the fungi retreating from the light washed over me like a wave. Panic set in as I realized the creature had been hurting me, using the light to corner me in this dead end. I spun around, the hammer raised, and waited for the inevitable. The creature emerged from the shadows, its one good eye glinting in the dying light. It was massive, a living embodiment of the cave's ancient power. Yet there was something almost intelligent in its gaze, a knowing that sent a shiver down my spine. It wasn't just a beast, it was a guardian of a secret long buried. Our standoff was a silent scream, two predators trapped in a dance of life and death. But as the last of the light faded, the creature took a step back, allowing me to pass. Was it a gesture of understanding or a trick? I didn't know, but I had no choice. With a deep breath, I slipped the tool into my pack and ventured further into the abyss, the creature's growls a fading memory. The tunnels grew colder, the air thinner. I could feel the weight of the earth above me, the pressure building with each step. The darkness was absolute, the only light coming from the occasional spark of bioluminescence from my suit. But I pushed on, driven by a force that transcended fear. Hours or days passed, I couldn't tell. Time had no meaning in the bowels of the earth. And then I saw it, a pinprick of light in the distance. It grew larger, a beacon of hope in the oppressive blackness. The surface, the promise of air and space and life. I staggered towards the light, my legs trembling with exhaustion. As I emerged into the frozen night, the wind bit at my cheeks, a painful reminder of the world above. But I had made it. I had survived. And in my pack, I carried the proof of a world that had existed for millennia, untouched by the harshness of the surface. The journey had changed me, scarred me. But I knew I had to share this discovery with the world, to show them the beauty and terror that lay beneath the ice. And as I trudged back to civilization, the weight of the lost civilization's secret heavy on my shoulders, I felt a strange kinship with the creature in the dark. We were both guardians of the unseen, bound by the mysteries of the earth. The story of the Luminescent Caves would not be forgotten. And neither would the creature that had tested my mettle and allowed me to leave with its secret. The tale of our encounter would be whispered in scientific circles, a myth that could never be fully proven or disproven. But I knew the truth. And as I stepped into the light of day, I knew that my life's work had just begun. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, consider subscribing to stay updated with our latest stories, give us a like if you want to see more, and drop a comment below to let us know your thoughts.